Hey everyone, today is June 14th, 2024, and after hours of being on the road, sometimes I like to stretch my legs, so we're gonna go on a little hike here to the top of this hill where they just did a replant not too long ago. Just turned around, parked on the other side of the road. I was gonna pull up on here to get out of the road, but I didn't like how soft this was feeling here. See, this is the kind of mud. The more you move around, the deeper you'll dig into it, so it was better to just park on the other side of the road. And got a couple of annoying deer flies following me around, but they only seem to land on you and bite you when you stop moving, so I'll keep moving. Any frogs down here in the slimy areas? Got a very busted culvert. Some stinky gas bubbles. See a water beetle right there. So lots of bubbles. Let's go on a walk here. Oh, this thing is like a cactus. It's got prickers all over it, but it's gonna have a beautiful giant pink flower soon. So the logging company replants areas when they log it. The growth here is probably within the last 10 years. Here we got a lot of mud. These little pools. Got some Indian paintbrush flowers. So they leave all the debris on the ground. It rots away, especially once there's a tree canopy that keeps it shaded. It rots pretty fast. So it looks now like a Christmas tree farm. See, they plant these with a machine so it can grow in faster. And if they don't plant anything, usually it'll get taken over by birch and maple. Don't know 100% what type of tree they planted. It's not balsam fir. Look at this, it's even old enough to have its own pine cones. Gonna have to check for ticks, but I also got the big high boots that help detect ticks. They're light in color. More of these prickly cactus-like flowers. More pools of slime. So it's a good idea I brought the big high boots. It's like a Christmas tree farm, see? Rows of trees. That's balsam fir, but that's not. Sometimes I show these, wow, this is beautiful, the Indian paintbrush flowers. Sometimes I show them cutting these forests down, but everything you see out here, every single tree right over there you see was planted by machines. Then they cut it down in about 40 years, replant it again, and it's a cycle. Gotta be careful, sometimes there's yellow jacket nests out here. The sun feels very strong. It's good to get active after a few hours sitting in the vehicle, just to go on like a 20-minute hike to the top of a little hill like this. Here's a great northern white pine. There's also another little trail right here. Some kind of animal walks here often. Just staying active. We'll see what kind of view we have when we get to the top of this. I'm sure you can hear all that buzzing. The deer flies are getting more confident and starting to land on me, even though I'm moving. Haven't passed a car in a couple of hours. There's no one out around here. It's getting steep. Oh my gosh, the view's beautiful. Until I get to the top. Ooh. Wow. It's a big area they planted. Look at it. As far as the eye can see. Replanted. Look at the view. A lake. Mountain over there. Wow. Beautiful out. Amazing view out here. I like it. Flies are getting bad. So let's get on out of here. See a giant patch of those flowers over there. I've never really been messed with by deer flies before this year. Even though the horse flies bite is worse, I'd rather them because they don't come in such swarms. Take a different trail down. I like to go into these clearings. Every now and then you'll find something cool. I've found so many abandoned vehicles over the years. One clearing I went walking in, there was a bunch of crushed cars. I imagine the logging crew had fun driving their machinery over them. Those cars. I could definitely find them in the winter if I wanted, but that was a couple years ago. They'll be extremely overgrown now because that was in a clearing. And I didn't even see the cars from the road. I just went out walking like I am now. Sometimes you stumble across something cool. I see some moose tracks. This right here, this is the perfect thing to go hiking through. Perfect amount of growth. Perfect amount of little trails to go walking around in. But this is a tree farm. They are growing pressboard, chipboard, toilet paper, all that kind of stuff out here. These trees don't have to get very big. They cut them down in about 40 years. This looks like maybe 5 years of growth, maybe a little more. You can see the really big ruts still left over from the log skids, moving the logs out to the road to get put on a truck. My property used to be a logging forest. It was replanted by the logging company in 1970, I believe, and in my woods, you can still find these big ruts from the logging machinery driving around. That stuff takes forever to go away. These flies are bad. What's that? I think that's moose diarrhea. Look at all the yellow flowers. I don't know what these are. They're not dandelions. These yellow ones are Indian paintbrushes. Look at all the buds it'll have. That's what all that is over here. Look at all the kindling. During a drought, areas like this could go up in flames easily, but wildfires are very uncommon around here. Remember when I was a little kid, going camping in the woods, we'd bring a couple Tupperware bins or a trailer. We'd grab a bunch of this kindling and drive it back to the campsite nearby. Some areas, if they're logging birch, there'll be birch bark all over the ground, as much as you could possibly want, which is a good fire starter. Look at all the clover over here. All that rock just shattered apart. Looking good. Let's find an area where we can look in the woods across the road. All right, let's go in the woods. Deer flies seem to like the sun. Hopefully they don't keep on me now that I'm going in the shady woods. So looking at the growth, this is probably about 30 years ago planted. Nice and cool in here compared to over there. Looking nice. The white pine trees like this one will usually go to lumber since they're a lot bigger and stronger. There's a couple of them out here. Even though this was probably, who knows, it could have been only 20 years, but still a few decades. You can still see the stumps left over from the last logging, but all the debris left on the forest floor has rotted away. See how it's all lumpy in here? This is all old stumps and things. Got peat moss, which holds moisture, helps things rot and decay. I love this forest. Is nice and open for going on a walk. Unbelievably open. Look at this. We're in the middle of the woods. Like, people don't just go walking out here. Do I see the prints? This is a moose trail. See how wide open it is? It's a very distinct trail. We're hiking a moose's trail. Moose walk this probably every single day. These are good areas to put up cameras. The thing is, would I remember it's out here? See, no human tracks. It's all moose tracks. We'll take this hike for a little bit. Look how big those prints are. They're big. Moose the majority of the time will run away, so I'm not really worried about running into one. It's very beautiful and open. I bet there's a swamp out here somewhere. It's usually where these trails go. Moose are huge animals. They can get sometimes 1,800 pounds, 8 feet tall. So their trails are certainly wide enough for a human. More prints. It's getting more mossy out here. A lot more prints. We'll probably just take it for a couple more minutes. Yes, I see an open area. Moose trails always lead to a swamp, a mud pit, or some sort of water. There's an open area. I'm sure it's wet down here. Look at multiple moose trails. Called worn. No, that's not a route. I thought it was a route at first. Worn out by them walking on it. Lots of fresh moose prints. They've been here recently. Let's see. Is there water down here? It looks open. It might just be natural clearings from trees falling over. Guess not. I don't know how much further I'm gonna take this. That'll let the moose know I'm coming. Very swampy. Yep, those flies didn't dare follow me into the woods. They don't like the shade. But it is swampy. This is what moose like too. Just the fact that it's wet in here. Logging companies will log places like this in the winter when it's frozen, because their machines would probably get stuck here. Very muddy. Yeah, I thought these sunny areas were going to be open, but not really. These are very fresh. These moose were here very recently. I'd say hours, because it rained and these aren't covered by the rain. I can't tell if I hear rapids or wind. Here's something though. I don't know if we're going to continue much more. The woods will keep playing tricks with you. Eventually, I would hit water. But, okay, this might actually be water this time. Let's hope I remember my way back to the road. But I've been consistently walking downhill, and this is a pretty dominant trail. So I should find my way back pretty easily. Definitely marshy, but the trail just ends into the grass. I'm kind of zigzagging now. Ooh, spider web in my face. I might not find my way back. I feel like there's a big pond or something here. Just feels like it. Don't want to get lost. Look at this. Look at all the moose tracks. No human tracks. Oh yeah. There's a whole lake out here. Moose poops. This is all moose. All these trails. Yeah. It's a whole lake. Pristine. Out here in the absolute middle of nowhere. Look at this. This is where the moose go. They love to go in the water where there's grass growing. Awesome. Now, I didn't go too far. Only walked in here about 10 minutes, so let's find my way back to the road. Let's get back on that dominant moose trail. I see blue water irises around. It looks just like a human hiking trail. There's so much traffic out here by the moose. It's sticky. Let's find my way out. So, remember I zigzagged a little bit, and there's multiple moose trails, but if I consistently walk uphill, I should hit the road. And I'm sure offline maps would show me the road too. But I think we're good. being motivated by the black flies to keep moving swiftly so they don't bite me. Looking down at the ground. Do I see any of my own footprints? I do. %90 of the time, a moose will run away when it hears you coming. They usually only attack if they have a baby. It's rare to just be territorial, but I know my grandpa told me when he was hiking once there was a stubborn one that for a half an hour wouldn't move out of the trail, so we had to find a detour around it. Alright, the trail for the moment is running a little faint, but I still see it. A trail at least. Oh, here we are. Here's the dominant one again. These woods smell so good. The trees are healthy. They're dripping sap all over themselves as protection from bugs. It smells amazing. Wonder what the moose ate. There's lots of moose diarrhea out here. Not in their typical pellet form. Working up a sweat. It's very humid out here. But good to stay active when your legs start getting a little bit sore being in the vehicle all day. Don't really see my trail anymore. I think I lost it. But I'm not worried, because up there I see a lot of daylight, and I'm pretty sure that's the clearing on the other side of the road. Going through some spider webs. There's a nice flower about to bloom. Yep. That's 100% the clearing we walked in earlier. I had a good hike. Ooh. Lots of peat moss growing out here. Nice and healthy and wet. We're meeting back up with all the deer flies. Had almost a half an hour of exercise. It'll be a half an hour by the time I walk back to the truck. Alright everyone, hope this little explore was interesting. Thanks for watching, and have a great day.